Tonight we get an in-depth look at what it takes to climb Mount Rainier as Paul Sylvie and photographer Pete Kassem take part in the United Way's Climb for the Community.
They joined a team of 14 climbers, including Seahawks head coach Jim Mora and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, as they attempted to summit Mount Rainier.
Hope for the best, plan for the worst. It's half mental and half physical. We forewarned them before they came to train for endurance and strength, because that's what this is all about.
Ed Viesturs has summited Mount Rainier over 200 times, but on this day, he is surrounded by some who have never even set foot on the mountain, which means a crash course in training.
Oh, yeah, okay. There you go. Then drive that pick in.
Oh, I got you. I look like a linebacker.
Seahawks head coach Jim Mora and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell are attempting to climb Rainier for the first time. After a slow, steady trek through the Muir snowfield, the group finally arrives at Camp Muir. Elevation, 10,000 feet.
Woohoo! My objective today was if Peter took a step, I put my foot right where his had been.
Yeah, there's a lot of technique to it. These guys know it. They say it'll provide benefits by tomorrow when we're trying to summit.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, huh?
That's one word for it.
Nice work coming up, dude.
Yeah, that's fun.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's fun.
Peter Whittaker has the most experience on Mount Rainier. He's climbed it 227 times. As the lead guide, Whittaker has to make sure his team of first-timers gets as much rest as possible. The climbers have roughly 8 hours to rest and hopefully sleep before their midnight wake-up call. One of the dangers of climbing Mount Rainier is a crevasse like this one. Some can drop to several hundred feet deep, so the trick is to avoid them.
I mean, the weather ultimately dictates what we do or what we can't do.
Mount Rainier takes on all comers. It's the most heavily glaciated peak in the lower 48. Thousands of climbers try each year to reach the summit, but only half make it all the way to the top, 14,410 feet.
Stars are out, the moon's full.
After hours of wind and at times heavy fog, the weather gods smile on this fledgling group of climbers. By 1 a.m., it's calm and clear. For the final ascent,
That one's good.
the climbers must rope up in groups of 4. Once locked in, the slow, steady climb begins. For some, every step brings confidence.
Hello, brother man.
For others, questions, doubts that can grow each time you allow yourself a glance at how much more mountain is left to climb. After climbing in darkness for the first few hours, the sun starts to rise, as if to offer rays of hope to those struggling midway through the climb.
So we're top of Disappointment Cleaver, about 12,300 feet. It is 5:15 in the morning. We've been walking for about 3.5 hours in total darkness. And we're halfway in elevation. Got a few thousand more feet to go, and you know what? I think these guys are going to do it.
United Way.
United Way all the way.
All right.
With every passing minute, the sun paints a new picture. It also slowly reveals the dangers of the climb, including crevasses too deep to see the bottom. The only way to cross those gaps is a snow bridge, or simply to jump. After a series of rest breaks, the team continues to rely on that single motivating factor, reaching the summit. It's not long before the countdown begins. 2,000 feet to go. 1,000. And finally, the last 500 feet to the top before the celebration begins.
Good job. Yeah.
Suck it up.
Way to go, Roger.
Thanks, buddy.
On behalf of United Way. Thank you.
The 51-year-old Goodell admits he struggled, both physically and emotionally.
You have to overcome your fear, and you have to overcome your doubts of whether you can do it. And there were some times on the mountain, as these guys know, I didn't think I'd be here.
There you go. You're awesome.
As for Mora,
1 for 1.
He grew up in Seattle, in awe of Mount Rainier, wondering one day if he would climb it. And now, for the first time in his life, he's at the summit.
Different perspective now when I look at it, you know, to know that I've been to the top. It'll be a feeling of accomplishment, driving across 520 and looking down to the south and seeing this beautiful peak and knowing that I've been to the top. That'll be fun. That'll be a good feeling.
2 days of teamwork, one person relying on the next, all culminating at 14,410 feet. Jeez. For the ultimate victory.
1, 2, 3, go!
With photojournalist Pete Kasem, Paul Sylvie, King 5 News.
Amazing. Paul's going to join us in a minute with the return of David Beckham to the MLS.
And in the city where the